Trap it down, trap it down, trap it down, you gon' trap it down. Trap it down, you gon' trap it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, man. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Dive film sessions right here on the Trap or Dive YouTube channel. I am your host of the Trap or Dive podcast, Jamual Forrest, aka Coach Maul, aka Handy Maul, all that good stuff, man. And we're bringing you Cole Turner to kick things off on the YouTube side of things. This film session. If you've been following me on Twitter or even Hogs Haven as well, you've been able to keep up with the off-season film sessions that I have done to date and that we have done to date. So Cole Turner is not a new one. However, we're bringing this to the YouTube side of things to get a more detailed look on what Cole Turner can bring to Eric Bieniemy offense. And his versatility is important. And I think one of the biggest things that we all kind of forgot about is the headway that he was making heading into training camp. Cole Turner missed 7 games last season due to injury, hamstring, and a concussion. And that kind of knocked him in and out of the lineup. Right? Only 2 catches on the season last year, 9 targets. So you didn't really see that much opportunity in terms of what he can do with the ball in his hands or at the catch point as a receiver. So that is kind of the issue that he came across several times last season. And we're here to dive into the tape, right? Dive into what he did for Scott Turner, the multiple different alignments that he was placed in. I mean, how effective he was in those alignments as well. And I think that when you can see what he did last season in a chaotic circumstance with a bad offensive line who struggled to pass protect for Taylor Heinicke and Carson Wentz, but then you also deal with the quarterback aspect where, you know, he didn't really get as many looks as he should have gotten from in terms of a read perspective. You'll see how effective he could be under Eric Bieniemy once these tight ends become a little bit more of a focal point in the game, but also the ways that Bieniemy can utilize his athleticism and his former receiver skills to the benefit of this offense. So I'm looking forward to diving into this film session. I hope you are too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tap right into it, man. Cole Turner film session is starting right now. Okay, so starting with the first clip, man, I think it's important to know when we talk about versatility, it starts with alignments and where he can really shoot up for Washington. And I think the biggest thing when you realize as we move forward what Cole Turner can do for this offense, it's big with how Eric Bieniemy sees things and how Ron Rivera sees things. And starting with this first clip, you'll see Cole Turner in the tight / nasty alignment, his split, right, about 2 to 3 yards away from the right tackle. And starting from here, we'll run it and we can talk about what happened, right? So obviously, clearly, he didn't get the ball. You see kind of how he's able to create separation, especially against the leverage and the coverage that he's up against. So his initial instincts, obviously, is having a feel for this coverage, right? This zone coverage in a sense. You have a inside linebacker that you're trying to work to clear before you break in for your dig route. But then you have cornerback number 31 who's playing some sort of bell coverage. With his backpedaling, but eyes towards the quarterback and his receiver. And as soon as he clears that linebacker, he's able to create that space, that opportunity for Taylor Heinicke, who is just staring down, you know, another receiver. But you see the feel for the linebacker, right? Which gives him that biggest space and opportunity for a quarterback, or a throw window, I guess is the easiest way to say it. But you see that throw window that's immediately available to him because he, one, is able to have that feel for the linebacker, but he has that quickness to suddenly break away from 31. So now you have nothing but a huge window up here with your single high safety over the top. If Taylor Heinicke isn't forcing the ball down to Terry, which, I mean, in a sense isn't bad, but you kind of see and we'll keep pushing, but you see the opportunity that Cole Turner creates in the middle of the field on 3rd down, right? He wins, and Cole Turner knows it too. He wins, but that versatility, being able to line up in a receiver stance, a 2-point stance, and be able to understand the leverage and the coverage that he's up against is pretty big. And we'll see as we keep pushing. Right here again, tight slash nasty split. This time he's up top on the top of your screen above that left tackle, right? And we'll run it and then talk about it. And so in this instance, it was an incomplete pass, right? But in the same vein, like, I think what you kind of have to recognize is also his coverage processing. So like that first play, you saw his ability to get open quick from his feel for coverage or his feel for the linebacker, his feel for space, but also having the quickness to separate from the defender that is responsible for him. And now you see a pure zone coverage against the Tennessee Titans where you have to find that sweet spot in that cover 2 zone, right? You got the defender that's playing the fat, and then you have a safety over top. Obviously in the cover 2, you have 2 safeties responsible for halves of the field, but then you have your underneath defenders who is protecting that first level of the defense. So you have to find that honey hole for the quarterback and the tight end or the receiver who's responsible for that type of route. And if we start with his release, it's pretty good. Like, that's the receiver background in him, taking that outside release, but then pressing up with a pressure step to get upfield and then quickly change directions to break back outside. It's all part of creating opportunity and working the cornerbacks that's in the zone, but also creating that opportunity again for the quarterback. So again, as we run it back, the honey hole, as I mentioned, is literally right here, and right here where Cole Turner breaks. So that opportunity for Carson Wentz, he sees it as well. And Cole Turner is running his route at the right depth, right? And creating that opportunity for the sideline. The issue is obviously the pass is way too high, but he does have opportunity to hit Cole Turner to the sideline if it's a more accurate ball. But to that point, think about what Cole Turner's doing here. His knowledge for the zone coverage that he's up against, but also understanding where he needs to be in his landmarks. It's right there. It's really good. It's really good work from Cole Turner. Now as we move forward to another opportunity, same team against the Tennessee Titans. Now you have him lined up again. Same area, right? That tight slash nasty split. This time he's on the right side, right? At the top of your screen. So he doesn't get an opportunity again right here. A good opportunity, but now you're going up against a defender who's playing off coverage. And your release is just as important as your release when you're going up against a guy who's closer to you. But how do you create separation? And I think for Cole, and this one, taking that outside release and widening that hip, manipulating that hip of that defender. Like, if you attack that outside hip, that defender has no choice but to maintain that outside leverage, right? But Turner knows that he's breaking inside. So the further that he can widen that outside hip of the defender or keep him outside with the leverage, right, the more opportunity and space he has when he breaks in. And at this moment, when you see the separation that Cole Turner creates, if this was a pass towards him, you see how he was able to win at the break point for his quarterback and create opportunity downfield for a big play. So that's another really good route. So you saw Cole Turner's tight alignments, right? His nasty splits. Now you see him in wide alignment slash boundary. And when you think of wide alignments, it's just out wide, right? Or boundary, where you're the isolated receiver on the short side of the field. Like if you're close to the hash mark. So what you see right here, if you're on that side of the hash mark and you're the isolated receiver, you're essentially the boundary. So you have a 3-by-1 formation, or essentially a 3-by-2, with your 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen, with Cole Turner and your running back at the top left of your screen. And we'll run it again. Think about how we mentioned the cover 2 honey hole, right? Don't forget that, how Cole Turner was able to manipulate the zone voids, excuse me. But you saw how he was able to manipulate the zone voids in this cover 6. So in your cover 6, you have quarters, half. And essentially what Cole Turner is facing is the cover 2 side of this cover 6 defense. So it's the same space and opportunity that he has to fill for that honey hole, and it's right there. That opportunity is right there. But not only that, if you all take a look at how he's able to clear the contact, shows you how he's good with working his hands, right? A swim move, you may not be able to see it like clearly, but a simple swim move or arm over to clear that contact and stay in his route. So it's a good rep for Cole Turner and good ability, like showing the consistency and how to beat that zone with the route that he's running. And this one next up is my favorite rep from Cole Turner. My second favorite rep for Cole Turner, because it shows you what he can do against press coverage, which is very important, right? But also what he can do as a receiver after, the snap. So here we go. This is a 4th and 1 situation for the Commanders, and we missed an opportunity for a touchdown. What I like here with Cole is his initial quickness at the line. Cole's initial quickness is the reason why he's able to get off the line of scrimmage right here. And the single move release, being able to have that quickness and get the DB out of position and commit to an inside move as he breaks outside, right? He's already won to the sideline. In a man coverage situation where you're being pressed by an athletic defender, Cole Turner shows how he's able to get open and how active he is or how competitive he is against press coverage. So if that ball is towards the sideline, you're talking about an opportunity for him. I mean, he has to make the catch, but you're talking about an opportunity for a big play that we missed out on last season. But you're seeing his versatility from the different alignments right now, from the wide splits / boundary alignments, and then obviously from the tight splits as well. Like the opportunity he's creating is really good. And able to do that on 4th down is just as big too. So he missed an opportunity there for Cole Turner. And obviously the big deal, the red zone phase. Again, it was a bad ball, so it doesn't look good on Cole Turner, but you get a good ball, you have an opportunity for a mismatch. And I think obviously Scott Turner saw it. We just wasn't able to get the job done. But again, those are the opportunities that you get. A guy who can win in the red zone because he's a big body, but also a guy who can win in press coverage, who shows that he can win in press coverage against press coverage, but also shows that he has the natural processing ability to find those open voids in zone coverage as well. All right, so I mentioned it was my 2nd favorite play against the Tennessee Titans, right? And this is my favorite play from Cole Turner last season. Obviously, it's one of the 2 catches that he made, but being able to find that seam and high point, and then also have the wherewithal, the courage and grip strength to maintain possession on a big hit after he fully extended for the football. That's a big play from Cole Turner from the inline alignment now, mind you. This is an inline alignment, 3-point stance next to his right tackle, has a clean release down the seam, and able to make the play for Carson Wentz and the Commanders to extend the drive for Washington. This is another angle of it as well. You can just see his ability to secure that one. That's the seam play, but as we keep pushing forward, you're able to understand also what he can do as, again, coverage processing, right? Inline, and find that zone void, right, on that first level of the defense. Being able to have that natural space or that football instincts and processing to evenly split that linebacker, both linebackers, but that linebacker that's moving out to the flat, but also that linebacker that's moving towards the middle of the field, the top of the W. Right? So right there at this moment, he knows that he's turning around and creating opportunity. If he's on the same page, he meaning the quarterback is on the same page with Cole Turner, that's also an easy completion. But either way, as you see, 1st down, chains are moving, but you just understand what Cole Turner can do on the first level of the defense as well. And one more opportunity, again, in line next to, I think that's John Bates in a 12 personnel formation. Now you got your famous mesh routes from that Scott Turner used to run, but you just see again the feel for that first level, wide open right here, settling down, right? Not necessarily carrying that route towards the sideline into the linebacker or the defender who's on the opposite side of the field waiting for him, just settling down and turning his head for the quarterback. Like, these all may seem simple for everybody or a lot of people, but in the nuance of the game, right, and being able to identify how somebody gets open, being able to read coverages are important, being able to have release moves with your hands and your feet, those are all important, and also having opportunities where you can marry both together and be an ultimate problem for most defenders that you're up against. And what you see from Cole Turner was impressive because, like, what he's able to do for what Ron Rivera, as I mentioned earlier, and what Eric Bieniemy wants, right? Like, those tight end positions are important. You have the Y, the U, the F, and you saw Turner play at all 3 spots, and even saw some spots as the H-back for Scott Turner as well. So he's able to line up at all 4 tight end positions. And I think when you understand what that does for a pass game, right, the opportunities that Cole Turner has under Eric Bieniemy are significantly more important than what you saw in his first year, his rookie season under Scott Turner. You'll be able to see a lot more ways to creatively get him the football, but also if he continues to improve through training camp and through preseason, you'll see how valuable he really is for Eric Bieniemy's offense. So I'm really excited for Cole Turner. I'm really excited for what Eric Bieniemy has at his disposal at the tight end position group. But, you know, ultimately we'll see how things go along. But this is really good for Cole Turner, a person who only had 2 catches last season. But as I've shown you all, he created plenty of opportunity for himself from his skill set. So fingers crossed to good health. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Make sure you hit that like button again. Make sure that subscribe button if you haven't done so. I appreciate you all for watching. Until next time. Peace.